Alright, Shalom. This is your brother Bani Amian with another video. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Rule well, peace, and salutations unto the hopeful elect who will be saved in these times. Alright, with just a backward video here. Alright, this video will be entitled we are in the age of prophecy coming in fulfillment because of the declaration of prophecies. Okay, and a part of where I get this title is from this precept. Alright, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 44 verse 3, basically of praising famous men, renowned men, okay, men of the Lord, okay, the men are old, okay, of back then, and the prophets who preached and prophesied these visions, of the Lord, of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and of this generation of prophets, of the apostles, from Great Millstone. Okay, always a double honors as you see on screen, who taught us this truth, long suffering for decades, a few decades, alright, of the Lord's name, of prophecy, the scriptures. And I said, in this time we come in, we're seeing all these things happening, the events in the world, all these things live, okay, with the hinters of with this truth being brought out, starting from the apostles on down, with just the light, that shines, that discern all these things, okay. And part of the inspiration of this, okay, is from this video from Apostle Taha, alright, his channel, what is the mark, GMS Truth, alright, and basically he this is a response to a video Apostle Ariam Blab, Elder Apostle Ariam Blab, alright, GMS Info Doc Channel 12 had done on basically on someone called Black Rams 13113, who basically respect the apostles for the ministry and getting the scriptures on point, as he had determined on a Hebrew on a Hebrew Israelite lens, correct, simple, understandable, who rightly divide the word of truth. And as we see, this is what is happening on the earth, okay. We have our apostles on down, brothers, preaching day in, day out, and it's happening, the true prophets being made known. All these things are just, okay, happening, okay. Because, by bringing out this word, which is the Lord's word, okay, and the spirit we have, of Yahushai, the Rakakodash, what manifesting these things in these last days, okay. So I'll just play some of it. Lord's will in this video be edifying onto the elect.
Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakodash, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm gonna make this short. Let's see where the spirit takes me. Pretty sure it's gonna be short. Anyway, I'm gonna title this video Wow. This is a video that caught my attention in the notifications, and this is put up by GMS Info Doc Channel 12, and I'm just gonna go ahead and play it. So listen up, watch up.
The name of this one is just simply Wow, and I just have to play this for you. It was just sent to me, and this was his individual, I know he used to be on the comment boards a while back, Ram 313. He was pretty much one of those, still is, one of the red pillars, I guess you could call it, and he used to watch the videos and, put comments and everything. And this was sent to me, like I said, he did a lesson on Trump turns on Korea, Angie something, you know, and it's on the site Black Ram 313. And I just want to play it. It's a minute 37 seconds long, and you know, you decide what to make of it. But listen up.
No rules. You got all of these different camps with all these different ideologies. No, sir. I would not want to live under Black Hebrew Israelite rules. The Black Hebrew Israelites.
Salakia, let me bring it back.
No rules. You got all of these different camps with all these different ideologies. No, sir. I would not want to live under Black Hebrew Israelite rules. The Black Hebrew Israelites, most of them, they're a big ass fucking mess. The only camp that I have nothing negative to say about is GMS. I would never say a negative word about Great Millstone with Elder Apostle Tahar, Arielon, I forget a couple of other names, man. Gabar and Rakah. So, Shalom always to Elder Apostle Tahar, Rakah, Gabar, and Arielon, I think is his name. Salute to them. I never have nothing negative things to say. I've learned way too much from GMS to ever say anything negative, and they the only camp that got their shit together when it comes to how to deal with these 304s and what a nation should look like. Forever respect to GMS, but everybody else, fuck them. They're pieces of shit, and I would never want to be in their camps. They losers, they stupid, and they don't know the scriptures. The only Israelite camp that understands the scriptures through a lens of a Hebrew is GMS. The rest of us,
They don't know the prophecies like we know it. I keep saying it about the prophecies. Most important part of the book right now, in this time that we're living in, the end times, is these prophecies coming to pass. So we're going to focus more so on the prophecies.
they're just Christians. GOCC, IUIC, ISU, they just Christians, G. They're just fucking Christians. They call themselves Hebrews, but no, sir. They're Christians. Anyway, great question, esoteric wisdom.
Yeah, so that's why I just said wow, you know, because, you know, I mean, it's a testimony, you know, of the work that the Lord has been having us to put in, you know, and now that things are actually happening on a, you know, a large scale prophetically based off of what we've been speaking about, you know, this is the Lord's way of comforting us, you know, because this place is taxing, this place is tiresome, this place wears you out, wears you down, you know, but as the Apostle Paul said, you know, I do all things for the elect's sake, you know, because this place, if you're not connected to Yahweh Bashem Shai through the Spirit, through the Holy Spirit, through the knowledge of this truth, being sound in the faith, being stabilized by this word, you will fucking go crazy. Trust and believe when I tell you. You know, you will have a fucking nervous breakdown, a fucking conniption fit. You will lose it, you will bug out, you will wild out, you will chimp out, you know. But, you know, the Lord always has a way to find a way to get us to the next stage of everything. This is Zephaniah 3:19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out.
You know, so you see, as the apostles been long suffering, you know, in this truth, okay, and more so now, you know, the words are coming into fulfillment, you know, fulfilling. All right, so I'll leave it out there, and I'll just bring out some precepts and close it out. You know, keep it short. All right, this is Sirach 44 verse 1. It says, "Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought the Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his power from the beginning. Okay, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies, you know, of the prophets of old who declared prophecies of now, you know, of the apostles on down, the elders on down, who, you know, declaring it, bringing it to pass, it coming into fulfillment, in it manifesting on the earth. Okay, and it's a beautiful thing. All right, okay, boosting up our faith more, you know. Okay, you know, just want to bring out that. All right, you know, these are the true men who had the secrets of the Lord. All right, okay. You know, Amos 3 verse 7, you know, talking about the apostles on dung of great millstone. All right, Amos 3 verse 7, it says, surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. You know, his servants. So as all these other camps are just Christians, IYC, you know, united in the C word, you know, not united in you know, as what the scriptures would say, you know. Okay, you know, not being genuine about the name, you know, all these things of Yahweh Shai. Okay, being in the spirit of prophecy, all these things. All right, okay, you know. So this is Isaiah 34 and verse 16. It says, seek ye out the book of the Lord and read, no one of these shall fail, none shall want to meet, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. And from the apostles on down had read out of the book, okay, you know, with this coming back, you know, the spirit of life from, you know, as the apostle had said, Apostle Ariam Love had said in the video, all right, with Elder Abba Pippins, all right, you know, brought us back in remembrance, you know, more so now. Okay, we've seen it come to pass. All right, okay, it says, seek ye out the book of the Lord and read, no one of these shall fail, none shall want to mate, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. Okay, and it is gathered, it's meeting, you know, it's you know, fulfilling. Okay, you know, by the mouth of the true prophets, you know, in this generation, this time. Okay, this is bear with me here, Jeremiah chapter 28 verse 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war, of evil, and of pestilence. Okay, the prophet which prophesieth of peace, and the word of the prophet shall come to pass. Then shall the prophet be known that the Lord hath truly sent him. And this was just of a false prophet Hananiah, you know, of dealing with the Babylonian captivity, you know. But, you know, the true prophet, which was Jeremiah, sent of the Lord, you know, his prophecy come to pass of you know, Israel. And, you know, the same thing, you know, in this time was happening, you know. Okay, you know, as the apostles being known for the work, okay, not for, you know, talk and all that. Okay, that's why I always, you know, double honors for, you know, the sincerity of the truth. Okay, simple. All right, which coming to pass, all these things coming to pass in the scriptures. You know, just gets, bear with me here. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou well understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Again, from the apostles on down, who've been measuring the time diligently. All right, to us now. Okay, you know, we've seen these signs pass. We've seen these signs, okay, pass. Okay, you know, in the scriptures. Okay, and bringing it out. You know, just by the effect of you know, of being the mouthpiece of the Lord. You know, these things are coming to pass in this time. You know, the Lord has been long suffering. Okay, why? Because this truth, you know, had to come out, but, you know, also the time is shortened, you know, for the elect's sake. All right. Okay. You know, everything is coming quick. Verse 3 says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High speak of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning events in the world, which we see this year, 2026, and more to come. All right. Okay, it's a manifestation of the end of this age. Okay, you know, rule of the heathen, iniquity, all these things, wickedness. You know, you know, the kingdom to come. Verse 5, it says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. All right, more so than ever. All right, in this time. All right, even so the times of the highest, also of the highest, have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. Okay, these things are beginning to show, to come into play. All right, which telling us, you know, new beginnings are coming. With, you know, Yahushua coming back. Verse 7, and everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. Okay, and this is where the elect who will have that mindset of seeing this, you know, and you know, basically being ordained of Yahushua, having that faith, you know, will escape all these things, and you know, will have this wisdom, knowledge to be preserved in the times to come. Okay, you know, because of the work of the apostles. All right. Okay, but the world is seeing, you know, these prophecies and who the men of the Lord are. All right. Okay, I'll just bring this up. This will I get here, like a link from the Great Millstone website, the King James. All right. I'll read from verse. I'll read 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 26. All right. It says, and the men that are received shall see it, and who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of the inhabitant shall be changed and turned into another meaning. As you see the breakdown here, who have not tasted death from their birth, Matthew 16 verse 22, being you know, some of these, you know, the elect, you know, won't taste death, you know, in this coming this time, you know, even with the MOTB. All right. Okay, and they shall see it, you know, see the salvation to come, and the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. And you know, as it say here, the minds of the elect are being changed into righteousness. Romans 12 verse 2, reforming your mind by this truth. Okay, we're doing that. All right. Okay, you know, from the apostles on down. Verse 27, it says, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall overcome, and the truth which hath been so long without fruit shall be declared. Okay, it being declared. All right, from okay the apostles, all right, of Great Millstone on down, who pushing the 100% truth. Okay, as the elect is being, you know, awakened out to this world, you know, to be saved, to be, you know, gathered up, you know, to Yahushua. All right, all these things. All right, and the youth is changing. All right, you know, because the effectiveness of this knowledge coming out. Okay, all right, you know, I'll bring this is Ezekiel chapter 2 verse 5. Right. Okay, and they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them. The time coming in too. Okay, whether these jakes here, you know, because usually, you know, as the apostle was talking about, Apostle Arian Blab, all right, with you would, you know, expect a scoffing comment, you know, a thing, but you know, that guy, he had gave good commendation. But you know, whether you don't believe or not, you gotta know a prophet been among you. Meaning what? Because of the prophecies to come, okay, you'll know that prophet is a true prophet sent by the Lord. Okay, but you know, by that time it will be too late. You know, it's the time we coming in too. You know, of all who took this truth for granted. You know, you know, uh, they're gonna receive judgment. They're gonna have a rude awakening. Okay, you know, all these things. So, you know, so this is just the truth manifesting and taking place. You know, okay, and confirmation that, you know, the 100% truth is being declared in these times. All right. So, Lord's will in this video was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Gewa Abad Babal, Shalom.